Buddy, it's Landmark Live Season 5. We are off and rolling, and they told us the show would never last. And here we are in year number 5. Welcome in, Weston. Shout out to Smithville. What up, Weatherby Lake? Peekaboo, Parkville. We see you. Hey, everybody. We've got a good show tonight, as we always do. We're going to talk a lot of football because the Landmark has a Pickem contest this year. And that thing got rocking and rolling already in week 1 of the NFL. And we're going to show you how that contest works. We're going to have a lot of fun with my special guest tonight, Landmark columnist, Guy Speckman. You know him as the Ponder the Thought guy on page 3. And he's a professional smartass and former city administrator, Bud Light aficionado. And welcome in, Guy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate being on here. Second time on, and I feel much more comfortable this time.
Great,
so
and
ready
you look so good too.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You clean up well.
Yeah.
And Guy, we're going to talk some about a lot of topics actually, but let's get started with the first week of the Landmark Pickem contest. Now you did pretty well too, right?
Yeah, but let's be honest here. This is a party for the person that won week one.
Did you get the name of that person?
The champion of week 1 apparently is Ivan Foley. And I don't know.
Man,
I don't know exactly what you've been doing. I don't know if you took during the pandemic. If maybe you said, I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to start drinking almond milk. Get in shape for this season. I'm going to go win the Pigskin Pick'em. And maybe that's what you decided to do. And listen, for the first week, you're week 1 champion, and yes. I mean, probably a few words to your fans on what you've done.
Well, I appreciate that. And what was really amazing, Guy, is that no one tied me any. It was a clear-cut victory. We didn't have to go to the tiebreaker system that Techman Schneider has developed for this program. So, I don't know how many, we had 80 or 100 people in there playing, and there was one guy that stood alone, only losing 3 games in the first week of the season. That was a nice lucky start by Ivan Foley.
Yeah, and the good thing is I like a guy that's humble about when he takes a win like that. And let's be honest, you know exactly how many people are in this contest and how many people that you whipped in week 1.
Yeah.
So there's probably 119 of them that you whipped, or how many are there? How many?
I don't know, between 80 and 100, I think.
Okay.
But who's counting?
Exactly. Well, the week 2 winner will be counting, and hopefully it's somebody different. Now, you did set a bad precedent. Apparently, the winner of week 1 got a gift, and you didn't keep it. Now I'm in this for the prizes.
So,
and I mean, my understanding is that Tony Farr is sponsoring this thing, and I thought we were gonna we're in this to win a house or something, but we're not. And do I have to give up my gift if I win something?
Yeah, you don't have to, but I don't know. We'll have to talk to Tony to see if he can gift us a house. That would be awesome.
That would be good.
I mean, he's got everything going. Tony Farr Real Estate does sponsor the Landmark Pickem, so shout out to Tony. And Guy, next week, let me tell you first. You asked a little bit, how I prepped for the during the off season. What I did, Guy, is I watched a lot of preseason football. While you guys are still watching the Royals and whatnot, and in the dog days of August, I gave up on the Royals, and I watched a lot of preseason football, and the others in my house can attest to that. And so that gave me a little bit of a heads up, a little bit like I knew the Minnesota Vikings had sucked in preseason.
Yeah.
So I picked against them week 1 when everybody.
Did you know the Detroit Lions sucked?
They did suck.
Yeah.
They did suck, but they almost came back and covered.
That's correct. That's correct.
Well, there was another team I thought. Jacksonville. Watch them in preseason. God awful, you guys. Let me give you a little advice. Don't be picking Jacksonville because you're going to lose. So I would have bet a few $100, and maybe I did, on Houston to beat Jacksonville outright, and Houston just kicked Jacksonville's tail.
Yeah, but Houston can't even be any good.
No, man,
that's the problem. Is that Houston's not any good either, and most of us know that. But didn't realize how bad. Maybe that's where you had the edge. I'm going
to say a little thing like that. Watch a lot of preseason football, I guess, next year, guys, if you want to get off to a hot start and beat me in week 1.
You don't want to subscribe to a Mad Mike's phone call, and they call you up and give you 4 picks, and so you've got. I thought you might have 4 or 5 Mad Jack, Big Bob,
and then combine them,
services, and they cut $49.95. You don't tell the wife that you're paying for these on the side, and you're getting these calls and during the day, and you're writing down the picks, and then you put them in. And
there might have been a day where that sort of thing happened, but those days are long gone.
Okay.
Now, I gave out a little tip in my column in the Between the Lines in the newspaper a month or so ago. I said that you guys might want to head to Vegas and put a little money on the Raiders over under. You know, the season win total for the Raiders. Vegas at that time had the Raiders over under win total listed at 7. And I told you then, if you read between the lines in my column every week, you know this. The Raiders are going to win more than 7 games. And what did they do that first week? They pulled off an upset, right? That was another game I was very confident in picking, though I wasn't so confident about halfway through the game.
Did you stay up to watch the whole
Oh,
game?
I did. That was the craziest ending, I think, in the history of Monday Night Football. But your thoughts on the Raiders? Over under 7 wins for the season.
I think over. I think over, and I think they're going to. They're one of the teams that I put down as could beat the Chiefs this year. You know, they could bring that kind of team, that kind of game, any kind of rivalry game. You always think could. I don't think they're going to win the division,
right.
But I do think they're going to win some games you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, and you know, another thing we have to keep in mind when you're talking season win totals, there are 17 games this year, not 16. So, you know, I was kind of surprised to see that Vegas over/under number at 7. I thought, the Raiders, because they finished 8-8 last year.
Right.
So, and they've already got 1 win under the belt. They beat Baltimore, so we only need 7 more wins out of the Raiders to hit that pay your mortgage bet that I told you guys to go out there.
Well, and I always like the teams. I was on the Redskins early. I think that they were going to be a good team. They were going to be exceed the expectations of what we were going to see. But now we've got Fitzpatrick hurt, and so and that just changes everything immedately. How long is he out for? Do we know? Is that like a major?
And then let's talk about that because we're recording this Thursday night, shortly before the kickoff of week 2, and Washington and the Giants play here in like an hour. And that's a tough game to pick considering Washington's starting quarterback is out.
Exactly. It just changes everything so quick. And Tampa Bay looked good, didn't they, coming out of the gate?
Yeah. So, hey, guys, if you haven't played yet, go to PlatteCountyLandmark.com, click on the Landmark Pickem, and get rocking and rolling. I'm going to try a little technology. And if Techman Schneider is ready, at some point we can bring up the screen here. We'll show you at home. Hello, there we are. Okay. Schneider is so good.
He is good.
Schneider was not on hand in your first appearance on
No, but it was
right?
still a good production. I was impressed by the production staff.
Production.
And the production staff has doubled now. We've got green space. We can do a weather report here.
I like the
basically Fred Broski. I mean, I was told you this. I mean, you're my Fred Broski now. And next time, I'm hoping when we come here, we can use the green screen and we can do a weather report and
maybe some bowling for dollars. Really,
bowling for dollars. Absolutely.
I like the way you said green space because we do try to be environmentally friendly.
That's exactly. Yeah. It's with all the green screen behind it, it made me think green space.
Yeah, well, that's important in real estate. Tony likes green space when he's selling stuff. So listen, I'm going to hold in my hand here.
Show us the winner.
Looky here, guys. Look. Oh, can you see that? Oh, it just disappeared. Oh, look at last week's leaders. Ivan Foley. I wish I knew that guy. I would get some pointers.
Now, what did you win?
I didn't win anything.
But you gifted?
I gifted it. The first place prize is a $20 gift certificate to Nick and Jake's at Parkville, and that is a fine place and a distributor of the Landmark newspaper every week too. So we're big fans of Nick and Jake and appreciate all their support of this contest. And so that's first place prize. Second place prize is a $5 gift certificate to 10 and 2 Coffee in Parkville. We love Parkville, and our sponsors are all from Parkville for this contest so far. So here we're rocking and rolling, and I did something to mess up my screen a little bit. Here we go. Okay, now, Guy, you're familiar with this, right?
Yes.
Okay, Guy, let's go into Ivan Foley's picks for week 2, which starts here in just a little bit. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the program here, guys, never played, but you're going to start playing after you watch this show, right? Okay, now, tonight's game, Giants versus the Redskins. Right now, I'm on the Redskins, but let's say I wanted to change my pick because you can change your pick right up till game time. It's not one of these contests where you have to submit it by Friday or submit it by Saturday.
People can take the latest information, like this information you've just shared with them today about how to pick. They can take it and make the switch.
Yeah. And I'm giving away these little tips for free, which is probably not smart on my part, but
yeah, well, you've got a commanding lead already. Week 1, so I mean, what difference does it make?
I am going to say that because last Sunday morning I woke up with and changed a couple of my picks, after giving it a lot of hard thought. And one of the picks I changed was Cincinnati versus Minnesota, which I knew was going to be a close game, but I still picked Minnesota thinking, the Vikings somehow are going to pull that one out. And then Sunday morning, it just hit me, no, you think it's going to be such a close game, pick the Bengals. I did. The Bengals hit. So, that was probably the key to my...
You spend a lot of your weekend thinking these things before
I do,
Yeah?
actually.
Well,
I
congratulations on the week 1 win,
Well-
man, because I'm a little concerned about your overall mental health, but we'll move forward from there.
Oh, listen to you. Okay, so listen, boom. You touched the Giants. Now my pick is the Giants. But don't forget, now you've got to, after you make your picks, while we're here on this screen, also for a tiebreaker, we suggest you make a pick on the over-under in each particular game. Over-under total points. The total over-under is listed at 40.5, as you can see here on the screen. So is your guess to be over or under? My thought is under on that one. But then after you make your pick or change a pick, you've got to scroll all the way down and you've got to hit submit, right? Elsewise, that change you made is not going to be recorded. So boom, you hit submit and there we are. It's loading it, loading it, loading it. And now we're back. So there you go. Pretty clever. And this list is a list of everybody who's has submitted their picks for week 2.
Now, it gives us our choice on this, whether we can show our picks or not.
That's true.
Does that work?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
If you
So I just hate for you to copy all my picks. I
Well-
I figure that's how you did so well the first week, and
I did.
and I figured you were looking on. That's probably on Sunday morning. You're waking up early. I got to go check specs.
It's a good
picks.
Speckman. Yeah. It's one thing I try to do. Here's another little tip for you. Don't get caught up in the noise. Just make your own picks and don't pay any attention to whatever anybody else is doing. But everybody's got their own little strategy, so to say. Now, if you scroll down here where these stars appear, like in Scott Herbig's pick, looks like Scott is Scott. He doesn't want anybody
He's
to know.
incognito.
Yeah,
He's
he's very
incognito on his bad
incognito.
boy.
Scott
Yeah.
is, he's probably living in the witness protection as well. No. And look, Susie Shepherd Williams. I think we know her actually.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Susie has also got.
She's incognito.
She's really confident apparently, and doesn't want anybody to steal her picks. And there's a couple of some guy named John and somebody named Sue and somebody named WJRPC67. It was a really weird name, but
That is a weird name.
Well,
What kind of mother?
whose mother would name their
would
kid?
strap that on you?
Yeah, ridiculous. But anyway, so there we are. And Schneider, if I need to get back, let me get back here. Oh, there we go. Okay, that was easy enough. Man, when Schneider did not design this app, he knew what he was doing.
It's actually an awesome app. It really
Really
is.
is.
It works well. It's an easy pick'em game, and I would get my family involved, like my wife and daughter, but they would probably beat me in the game, and then
That'd be
it would piss
embarrassing.
me off, and then I would,
That would
it'd
be-
cause for problems around the house, and so no, I'm not telling them about it.
What? It locked up? I can't hear him. What? I'm getting some messages from Moscow or something, but
There's also a game lock timer in the upper right-hand corner.
oh,
to
yeah,
make sure
first
people
game
know
lock
when-
time.
yeah.
That's what we're after. 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 1 second left.
So you still have time to.
I could go back and change this. Like,
do you really think the Giants will win today?
I do not. I was
Okay.
just showing the app.
Who
but,
is quarterback in the Redskins tonight? I mean, my bad.
Tyler-
It's
Tyler.
the Washington football team. I said
yeah, you don't-
Redskins.
oh man, we are going to
We
get
just
hit.
shut this thing
We're going to
down.
get hit with so many
Just shut it
letters.
down.
The FCC going to be contacting you. But listen, so no, I actually at here 1 hour and 5 minutes before game time, I'm going to make my pick right here on live internet. Washington football team is my pick as of right now. But again, Ivan Foley can go back and change this right up until game time, thanks to Schneider and his Magic Potion app. Now, any questions out there, folks? Oh, look, Frank Offit likes the graphics, and we do too, Frank. Thanks to Schneider, he has all kinds of.
That's mayor to us, right?
We still call
Still
him
call
mayor.
mayor,
We still
yes,
call him
yeah.
mayor because he'll always be mayor to us. Very cool. Now, so as you go through here, now if you don't get in on Thursday night, don't worry about it, guys, because you've still got 15 games you can get in on, and trust me, if I can win this contest one week, you guys can win the contest. I mean, it's that easy. But I must say, I was very proud of myself for getting off to a hot start because,
You know what's I couldn't tell that you were, but I'm glad you are. And I mean honestly, I mean the problem is that if you get a big lead here, then we've all got a problem. Then we've all got to start making. If you do this weeks 1, 2, and 3, then we all have to start making stretches on our picks.
you're gonna panic.
Yeah, it'll be panicking.
Yeah, you guys will be going in there and looking. Okay, you're gonna what's Foley doing? And then you're gonna say, oh, I'm gonna do the opposite of Foley, even though that's probably not. That may not be your best strategy. Because I always think go in and pick the games as you think they're gonna hit, not based off what some other player is picking. But hey, you guys be you, okay? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you the strategy that I think would work best. What else we need to touch on here, Guy? Oh, here's one thing we need to touch on. Schneider, are we still on screen there with the? Okay, I wanted to touch on this. That's our sponsor, Tony Farr. I just happened to hit his ad and look where it goes. I hope it goes to Tony's website. I'm going to be really scared if it goes somewhere else.
You know, Tony's got to be busy. Tony's got to be busy. Because if you want a house, you got to get to him quick because what do you get, like a day or so now to buy a house?
You do in Platte County.
Basically in Platte County.
It's
Anywhere
like,
from here over to Kearney, it takes you get half a day to buy a house. And
right.
And if you don't do that, then you're out.
And you know a thing or two about that because you're an appraiser by trade since you got out of the newspaper business and quit drinking.
Well, let's not go too far on any of that stuff.
Okay, now listen, that doesn't even look like Tony. Oh, that's
No,
not
that's
Tony.
not
Okay,
Tony.
that's not Tony.
That's not Tony.
No. Okay, and that's not Meredith either. But anyway, we're back to the games, and another thing we should show you. Go up here. It says your picks for week 2. Your picks for week 2. You can scroll down and go ahead if you wanted to start picking your games for week 3. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but maybe you do. Schneider's got
there's some overachievers in the world.
Yeah,
you know,
they would like to work ahead,
people
right?
that want to get it done.
They like to work ahead. I don't hate it. But anyway, so every week's schedule, I believe, is already loaded on there, thanks to Schneider. And that's Schneider. He's got a future in tech, I think. But there we are.
Yeah, do you think that he can get us a studio audience eventually? Because I mean, I told you today, like Bowling for Dollars. You know, they had the little box area that where they seated those people.
Yeah.
And like only people our age would know what that was. But I think it would be really cool if we could get some people in here and have a studio audience.
It'd be awesome. You know who we should reach out to is Fred Broski.
We should.
He's still alive, you know. Fred is still alive, and let's reach out to Fred and get him on a future show.
Yeah.
And we can talk some bowling
that's
for
big time there. I mean, I know you got Vicki Lawrence next week, and I'm the run-up guest to try to test out. And I don't have a footstool like you do here, but
I don't understand the hatred.
It still bothers me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I assume if Vicki shows up in studio, that she will have a footstool, and hopefully any kinks that you have this week will be worked out for her.
Vicky actually has asked for a foot rub, so I volunteered you to so that's either you or Camler will be handling that.
I think Camler said, "Yeah, I'm in on that."
Yeah, great show. While we're thinking about it, hey, Vicki Lawrence of Carol Burnett's show, fame and fortune, will be on Landmark Live next week. But that's next week, right?
Absolutely.
I'm going to say that's probably our biggest guest we've ever had, slightly above Frank Offit, and just slightly above Mayor Q from Kansas City, who always has fun with us when he comes on. But hey, Vicki Lawrence, the biggest get yet, I believe. Would you say? Or Guy Speckman was a close second as well.
I would definitely put Vicki Lawrence at the top of your list. I think Mayor Q's a pretty big get. I do.
He is.
I do.
He is.
I mean, and he's out there on a lot of stuff, but it's pretty gracious of him to be on your show.
It really
It's
is,
a pretty
and
big
he
get.
enjoys it. I had a friend who ran into him and said, "Hey, I loved you on Landmark Live," and he just said very positive things about Landmark Live. So he obviously wants to be on again. So next time we'll get you on.
Was he here for the new expanded studio?
No, we haven't.
So-
We've always Zoomed with Q, but we're gonna.
Oh,
we're gonna
we gotta
him-
get him to town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
we gotta
threatened.
get him
He
to
threatened to
town.
come to town for the 4th of July. Remember, for the dunk tank thing, but he never showed, and because you were there throwing at me, and did a fine job.
Well, I missed.
Yeah, that's how you.
But
did.
I did meet one of I think I have 3 or 4 readers, and I met one of them, and she was a really nice lady. I mean, I I think I dominate the older lady crowd.
You do?
I kind of feel good about that.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because an older lady, that's all I'm going to say. She was older than me and older than you. And she came and renewed her subscription like 2 days ago, and she was carrying this aluminum foil package thing. And turns out it's banana bread. And she said, boy, that Guy Speckman is a hoot.
Sweet.
And yeah.
Did she have blue hair or no?
She said kind of something like, well, he's the tiger I want to tame, I think is what she said. So I thought she didn't really hide her feelings.
But the bread, what was the deal with the bread?
Where
did it end up?
Oh, it's really good, Guy.
So she complimented my column and
gave
left
me the
bread
bread.
with you.
Yeah, so that tells you something right there. I said, next time bring a Bud Light. That'll get him really excited.
Exactly. That's true.
So let's talk about that now. Your passion for Bud Light started at what age, really?
That's a great question. I don't know. I think we started with Michelob Light back in the day. And you know what we started with at 16 or so? Malt Duck.
Oh my gosh!
Did you guys ever drink the Malt Duck? And did that make its way all the way to Waukeena or not? I mean, I think it stopped at the Missouri River.
Probably did, but I never engaged in it.
We would get people to buy us those. I'm not going to name their names at this point. It's been 30, 40 years, but I don't want them.
But still,
they buy those boxes, and it was a box of those little bitty malt ducks. Yeah,
I've seen them. I've seen them and heard
good.
stories.
Yeah,
we kind of started with Busch and Busch Light, and then eventually, as we made a couple dollars, we actually upgraded slightly to Bud Light, and so just slightly.
Did you? You mentioned in your column the other day that the drinking age back then was 18 in Kansas.
Sure was.
And we used to make the trek every now and then. I had a famous experience in Hoover that I wrote about, one of my first columns here.
Right.
That they would sometimes stop you as you were trying to make your way from Plattsburgh to Atchison. But so did they have at the local bar? I mean, would 18-year-olds go into the?
Oh yeah.
The local pool hall and have a beer?
Yeah, I went into. Well, you remember them, I'm sure. It was one was called The Place.
Okay.
Which I played on their softball team, so that was my favorite local bar, was The Place. And the other one was The Keg. The Keg was more of a rowdy crowd, not really my thing. It was more.
Now, how old were you when you graduated high school?
18. So I turned 18 in January. Spent my 18th birthday down at The Place drinking a free beer because on your 18th birthday, the beer was free.
So after school, you
could go down
the bar. You can run by the bar.
Yeah, we could go down right after school, man. And
I tell my kids about we at our high school we had a smokers lounge.
Mm-hmm.
The seniors could smoke in this one room. It just seems so funny now.
Yeah, we didn't have an indoor room for smoking that I'm aware of. I was never a smoker, but they always gathered outside.
Buildings, yeah.
Yeah, they always gathered outside, and it was apparently no big deal.
Or did you have multiple buildings or just one building?
Oh, we just had one, man. We were poor.
But you would stop by the bar and have a beer after school?
I worked after school, but in the evenings after work, bingo, I was over there. Heck yeah. Not every night. I don't want to give that impression, but you remember because you were a Missourian who came over there. I'm sure we were probably in the place at the same time at some point, I would say. Did you hit the Place or the Keg?
I never went to the Place. We would go to Kibby's. Was it Kibby's?
Oh, that's Atchison.
Kibby's in Atchison was the place that we would go to. That was kind of like special occasion, like if we would try to make it over there.
Yeah.
And then sometimes was it Pogo's in Overland Park area?
Yep.
That was kind of a big to do to go down there. I remember because they had one of those mechanical bulls there, and I've.
Is that why they called it Pogo's?
I don't really know, but I rode that one evening.
Oh, you did?
When I was about 18, and I will never ride one again. Now I don't know if. I felt like I'd been hit by a truck the next morning, and it wasn't from Malt Duck. It was from that bull, and I wasn't good at it. So
there we go. We've got Sabrina Thompson says we had a smoking courtyard at her high school. Apparently, that's kind of what I went to a little school called Waukeena High School. That's kind of what they had outside. I don't know if it was really an organized thing or just a spot where the smokers hung out. You know what I mean?
Well, and I did a stint in Columbia Junior High, and they would smoke right across the street. Across the street. Then we're talking junior high now, from Jefferson Junior High in Columbia. They would.
You had smokers in junior high?
They would smoke.
You guys started young. You big city cats.
It just seems it seems rather unique at this point in time. And you think about it too when you get on airplanes now, and
Right.
and I mean, I remember dressing up as a kid. You get on an airplane and then everybody's just smoking like crazy, and
Yeah,
just pretty crazy.
it is. Now, also, we need to talk about your early days in your younger adult life. Guy Speckman was a city administrator at Plattsburgh, right? And give us a
Plattsburgh,
highlight.
Savannah, and Maysville.
Oh, 3 stops.
Yeah,
okay.
I tried to move around until like you don't want
You were
people
staying
you
one
don't
step
want-
ahead of the
you don't want
posse.
people to figure out what's wrong with you, and some places it's 6 months, some places 4 years. You know?
Yeah. Did you ever destroy any public documents or whiz on the Sunshine Law or anything like that? Or
I try not to, and I've watched a lot of that happening around here about the city administrator hopefully wouldn't be involved in it much. There's a custodian of records. Every single public entity has custodian of records, and honestly, leave it alone. If you're above that person, just leave it alone, because that person is going to keep the records as they're required to, and then it's pretty simple. I had a city attorney who's now the prosecutor in Buchanan County. Ron Holiday was the city attorney at Savannah, and he used to always say, "If it looks bad, it is bad," and that's just pretty good advice for almost anything you're going to do in public government. And I mean, I did some things that looked bad and were bad, but it's good advice on a lot of that stuff.
now you said Plattsburgh, Savannah. What was the third town?
Maysville. I
Maysville.
started out on a stint at Maysville.
Oh, that's where
Yeah.
you started. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean stint. Yeah.
Stint. Maysville. I was in Maysville like early in the pandemic days, and let me just say, Maysville said, "Piss on the COVID." There's no such
Yes,
thing as
that's
COVID.
right. There was no COVID in DeKalb County.
They
for
did
quite
not
some
wear
time.
masks. They
That's
didn't.
right.
They had no cares about COVID. You didn't see a mask in the whole town.
Yeah.
But anyway, shout out to Maysville. So did you enjoy your time at Maysville?
I did, but I was probably a little young at that. I was 21 years old when I took that job.
A city
Yeah.
administrator at age 21. You were a smart cat then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was. I may have been. I don't know. I was young. I was
Yeah.
young, and it probably wasn't the greatest choice for me. But
And you had a time or two where people wanted to fight you, like physically fight you, right?
yeah.
And I'm not talking in the bar, though you did a little bit of that too, I think. You did some bar scrapping. But now, when you were serving as a city administrator and somebody come in and want to fight you, I think I've heard another former city administrator over at Plattsburgh tells a story about he had some people like physically approach him wanting to scrap. So what was your experience with people wanting to get physical with the city administrator?
Well, I always thought that was a great situation, and that the police department works for you, and so it's a pretty sweet deal.
Right.
And in most cases, there's some places where the police department doesn't work for you, but you can be pretty tough back in those days, and make sure that you've radioed the cops real quick, or that the city clerk is radioing them, and then you can act pretty tough and hope that they get their
Please
hope
get
that
here.
they get the the donut and the coffee down quick enough to get there and help you out.
Yeah.
And so you're slow out of your office.
Right.
The first step is be slow out of the office.
Be slow.
And
I like You needed a bat phone though, really, with the police chief. Like, but what did you use to communicate with the police department back in those days? Did you have a little pager?
we had hip radios, those hip
Oh,
radios,
okay.
and so that was the deal. Yeah. We got and like I can't imagine being a city manager or it's changed so much in the 25 years since I've been out of it in communication. I cannot imagine having to take all the crap on social media and stuff that you would take.
Right.
I mean, that's got to be brutal as far as because you get it in person for sure, but I mean I'm
Right.
sure it's just something else now.
I know one city administrator here locally that I talked to, and he's like, never gets on social media. I think for the reason you just said.
Yeah.
There's nothing good for him on there.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. Again, the Bud Light thing, though. That's still your brand, though, right? When you first started, you were mentioning that you were going to wineries a lot. Wow, Guy is changing. He's drinking
Well, I
wine.
think that you misconstrued that because,
No, that's
because let's be honest. I never broke up with Bud Light. It's been a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had a long-term relationship with a few things, and one's my wife. One is my dry cleaners. I've been to the same dry cleaners for like 35 years.
That's amazing.
And then Bud Light, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now listen, you and I are both nutrition experts, right? Because you and I we had a text conversation, and I asked Guy if it's okay if I bring this up. Guy has lost a lot of weight from when I first got to know him. Now, do you want to give the details? How many pounds have you lost?
I don't.
Come on.
120 or something like that.
Serious.
Something like
That
that
is amazing.
Yeah.
Looks like a totally transformed man. And I think you'll probably go back to your bar fighting days now that you're buff.
Yeah, well, I can't stay out long enough to go to the bar.
You had to be in the lightweight class
very
now.
long. Yeah, I had to change weight class, and those days are over.
But now let's talk about how you did that.
You know, and I said to your text the other day, it's not very exciting. I really just quit eating. I've thought I've done all the other stuff and done every imaginable diet. I was thinking about lap band and thinking about all these different things. And honestly, about in 2016 somewhere, I just woke up and said, yeah, I got my mind right. I mean, it really was, and that's what happens. I mean, they tell you that for 20 years, you listen to that kind of stuff on what you just got to get it right in your head, and I just got it right in my head, and I had a wife that helped me a lot, and quit stocking anything in the house and so just started working on it. It took a long time. I mean, it took a long time. And it's still a process, so it's not done, but
it's a work in progress. Now it's 120 pounds.
Something like
Oh,
that.
good Lord, that's impressive. Now I got to brag on myself. Can
Yeah.
I'm normally
Absolutely. Well, see, I mean, that's where I was. I mean, I know you got ready for this through the pandemic, but I mean, Tom Brady just said that he could play football till 50. Right. And I was equating that to you, that like you've lost weight.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm thinking you can do this newspaper till you're 100.
Really?
But you go ahead.
Okay. Wow, that was quite the introduction. But yeah, I the last time we did a Landmark Live, I think it was in May, and you notice my shirt was very tight and it was like grabbing me here for some reason.
Yeah.
And so that's
the wife in the laundry is what that is.
Yeah,
you
blame it on my tailor.
Dry cleaner.
I got a bad tailor. So anyway, I decided I better stop eating quite as much. And I at that viewing, I was 178 pounds, and I stepped on the scale this morning, 161, guys.
Man.
17 pounds since May. So I got to keep it going. It's a daily challenge, though. But,
yeah, and it kind of sucks.
It does, because I'll tell you, it's really no fun. I've really cut down snacking during the day because, that's helped a lot, I think. And the breakfast, a banana for breakfast, and then I'm out the door. That's all I do, And you ought to see me climb trees now, guys.
Is that right? You do pretty good.
Yeah, it really works. Double benefit on the bananas. But now we were going to touch on, now, do you go to Parkville much? Have you?
I just on occasion,
Okay.
just on occasion. Maybe a month ago, I went down there and kind of took a look around.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. And now when you do appraisals, do you have any clients down in the Parkville area?
Yeah, I do some Platte County work in that area. Yeah. So.
Good. Yeah. When you drive by Parkville City Hall, do you kind of get a whiff of a little bit of corruption, or is that just because some people say they do as they drive by? I don't know that I've.
I'm probably not invested enough to know that to catch that smell. And if you remember, we've been through my COVID details here, and so
it has affected
my
your
smell is still not good. And,
okay.
and so I probably can't smell corruption too well, but if I could,
yeah. Well,
I find that whole situation there so disappointing in the fact that as far as a city losing a Sunshine Records request, I spent a lot of time at the newspaper fighting against this all the time, and it just drove me crazy. One time we were going to do, if you recall, there was a time when all public entities, their salaries were always just front and center. It was real straightforward on what people were getting paid and what things were happening, and that has just gotten, our ability to tell the story has gotten easier, yet those details have gotten harder to find out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I tried doing a survey once, and it's been 15 years ago, of all the fire departments, water departments, all the, of salaries, and you just wouldn't believe the trouble we ran into. And those are all discoverable items under sunshine law, but you have to go prove it. And so I would go hire. On that particular case, I didn't, but on one with a school board member, I remember I paid $1,000 to get stuff that should have been free. I paid an attorney $1,000 to get stuff that should have been free.
Yeah, and
it's disappointing.
it is disappointing. I will say that I've used a resource, and you probably did too in your time as a newspaper publisher. The Missouri Press Association has a sunshine attorney just on call. But if you get into something heavy, she'll charge you for the work. But if you just need advice on how to deal with the public,
Exactly, and that's who. Yeah.
Is that, yeah. So she's been very helpful to us over the year, and to me, and to when I will call her with concerns and questions. Here's what's going on. Is this a sunshine law violation, the way they're handling this? And she'll shoot me straight. And a lot of times the answer, well, it's a gray area, but ever so often you get definite sunshine law violation.
And it should be such a simple matter. The cities and counties and entities all over have gone through this process now of creating these ordinances that charge by the copy and by they have time to do all kinds of crazy things, but it's going to cost $1 a page to make a copy of this information that people want, and that's ridiculous. But you see it all the time now. They've created these ordinances that are really barriers to get information, and then if you get through that barrier, if you get through the barrier of having to pay for it, for something that should have been free anyway, then they might even hide it from you, which is apparently what happened there in your case in Parkville.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Was there anything else we needed to touch on tonight?
We were going to talk a little bit about the COVID money going to COVID
you
relief
had
money.
some Guy, and again, his call. I'm visiting with Guy Speckman on the season 5, episode 1 edition of Landmark Live. Guy Speckman is our ponder, the thought columnist on page A3 of the Landmark every week. He's a former city administrator, former newspaper publisher, and he has many talents, actually, and played football at Plattsburgh, right, when you were in high school?
Yeah.
So,
I don't put that on many resumes anymore, but I used to a lot.
Yeah. So anyway, so Guy had some thoughts in his column this week about the Platte County Commission's intention to spend up to $20 million in COVID aid money, federal COVID aid money that the county is getting. The commission is proposing to spend that out on building and building improvements. And your thought on that? Just rock and roll with this.
I think it's a good idea that they're getting this money. They're going to take they've dumped money on all of us. Every government entity, every business, every person, they've dumped, 40% of the money in play right now in our country is new money printed since the pandemic. And so, yes, let's get it. Let's use it on local things. If you can get it. But here's the thing is they're talking about at Platte County, and I'm certainly no expert on what their needs are, but they're talking about making revolutionary changes or to the way business is being done. And talking about less people coming to the courthouse, which
Right.
I don't know a lot of people that go to the courthouse anyway. And most people they're either criminals or old people that are going to the courthouse, or lawyers representing people. But the percentage of everyday citizens that go to the courthouse is pretty low anyway. But if they're going to, what I kind of reckon this to is I think I was telling you this afternoon, that is the jail situation. Remember when we've gone through a few periods of time where we said, we need more people in jail. Let's build more jails. So we got more people in jail. Now and then we said, no, we need less people in jail. We need to do this, mitigate this this part of it, and get less people in jail. Then we back more. I think we're at less now. I can't really remember. But I don't know if building improvements to create less people coming to the courthouse and more remote working opportunities is really the new thing.
Right.
And it can all switch back. I can see where they don't bring defendants in now. They're going to say, we're not going to bring defendants in. Why do we need to even bring them in? And then in 5 years, 10 years, we're going to say, the defendants need to see the judge. We need to be able to look them in the eyes. And we're going to see that.
I think you're onto something there, partner. Just the back and forth of that whole thing. But one thing I do kind of support is more options for the jail. When you've already got somebody who's a prisoner, he's in your jail, just do a video conference up to the judge rather than risk life and limb to transport that prisoner from the basement or from the jail up 3 stories of the courthouse. And it's easier if you've already got him in custody and everybody's cool with it. Just let him do a remote.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But isn't part of the process the big room, the pomp and circumstance of the court proceeding?
Yeah.
Isn't that part of the process of I wouldn't say punishment,
Of
but
facing
part
your crime, facing your crime,
yeah.
kind of.
And, I mean, isn't that part of it? And I think that might get lost a little bit in the shuffle if
That's
if
a
they
valid
don't-
point
if they
too.
don't have to face that.
That's a valid point too. I don't know if we're going to solve all these problems tonight.
Probably, but I mean, not before the Washington New
What?
York Giants kickoff, and there is a priority for the Week 1 champion, and I know what it is.
Yeah, and you know who it is too. Week 1 champion was Ivan Foley. Probably a situation that'll never happen again this season, but we'll see. Remember, if you finish with more correct predictions for the season than Ivan Foley, you win a free 1-year Landmark subscription, which is very valuable to Guy. Another thing we're going to talk about, car buying and truck buying and such. You and I had a discussion recently. Tell your recent experience with buying a new vehicle with the thousands and thousands upon dollars that you were making as a Landmark columnist.
And honestly, I was told this was an employee review today, and I thought there was going to be a bonus or something, but apparently that's not the case. So I did buy a car today, and
Yeah.
I was pretty excited about it because I bought it without ever going to the dealership, which is pretty exciting. So now I'm going back on. I'm backtracking on everything I said about the courthouse because I bought a car without going to the dealership. So it was pretty exciting. I arranged with because I don't have enough money because I'm not paid enough from my Landmark appearances. I went to Nottoway Valley Bank, secured a little bit of money to buy a truck. And I sold one on this Carvana. Have you seen these?
Yes,
I sold that, and apparently cars are. I mean, they're high right now. They're I mean, like everything else. It was pretty high. And so we sold a car to Carvana, and then went through a dealership where they you just buy it unseen and they deliver it and used truck, and there we go.
Pretty cool. And you don't have to go through all the hassles of being in the dealership.
Yeah.
The last time I bought a vehicle at the dealership, I was probably in there 8 hours, and so because you got to test drive, and then you might want to test drive another one, and there's just so much hassle back and forth, and who's got time for that?
Exactly, especially when you got a newspaper to publish and you have picks to make in the Pigskin Pick'em.
Yeah, if it's football season, I'm not buying a new car. I got football to study. How about that, you guys? We appreciate you joining us. And remember, Landmark Live is back again next Thursday night, September 23rd, when we have Vicki Lawrence joining us by Zoom, assuming Techman Schneider gets the Zoom calls down pat, and I'm sure he will. I'm more confident in the Landmark getting our Zoom calls down pat than we are with the Hollywood folks. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it'll go off without a hitch. Vicki Lawrence next Thursday night. Until then, Guy Speckman, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Good time.
Guy Speckman, Ponder the Thought columnist on page A3. We'll see you guys next Thursday night. Until then, get in Landmark Pickem. Thank you.